the Netflix thing about '04 came out like a month or so ago, and I went to the screening near Fenway Park at the theater, and I ran into some, Red Sox higher ups, and I was talking to one of them, and I just said, "Doesn't this make you hungry?" And he goes, "Starving."
Gabrielle Starr is a Red Sox reporter for the Boston Herald. Does a great job covering the ball club. There's a lot of chatter around the Red Sox this offseason. Gabrielle, great to have you on. How's the offseason going covering a team that I think is showing signs of a little more oomph?
Thanks for having me, guys. Good to see you. It's been a very interesting off season. Definitely uh, more interesting than the last few off seasons. Let's put it that way.
Mm-hmm. All right. So, you want to start with Chapman or
No,
Soto?
let's start with Soto because
Okay.
that's so I don't have to talk about it the whole interview. Okay, let's get this out of the way. Are the Red Sox going to sign Soto? Because I'm so sick already of it. We play a skit on here every day, Gabrielle, where it's like, where will Juan go? Nobody cares, except for fans of
No,
certain teams.
everyone cares.
Well,
I
I
think a
know.
lot of people care.
Yes,
Yeah.
I know, but
He just doesn't like the skit. He doesn't like
yes, because I
the
think there's other
animation.
people we need to talk about. Okay, so will Juan Soto sign with the Red Sox?
I mean, I think there's definitely a stronger chance than anyone expected realistically going into this offseason. I mean, they made him a sizable offer. I know that much. It's been pretty tight-lipped over there, understandably. The Red Sox are very big on, we don't like to reveal our offseason strategy. We're not going to talk about money. We're not going to do all these things. They've certainly talked about money more than, like I said, anyone expected. They've said that they're willing to exceed the luxury tax, which they have not done the last 2 years, not even close. So I think Soto is realistic for them. I'm not sure he's they're as realistic a landing spot as, say, the New York Mets, but I would say I've heard that the Yankees are definitely more stressed about the Red Sox than they ever thought that they would be in the Soto sweepstakes. And that is always fun, from a rivalry perspective.
Yeah, we need that rivalry because that's what it used to be. It used to be Red Sox, Yankees. Who's going to get the next biggest guy? But is this good for Boston? Is this good that the organization is saying this and they don't seem like the favorite? Because if they don't land him, only one team can get Soto unless he gets this like freaky awesome contract where he gets to play for two teams. That would be pretty cool. But only one team gets him. If it's another player that the Red Sox miss out on, is this bad publicity that's all out there that the Red Sox are going hard but fall short?
I mean, I think compared to other big name free agents in the last several years, there is something to be said for the idea of, like, what is it called? Like nobility in defeat or whatever that whole thing is, where, it's like a valiant effort. The fact that the Red Sox are even still in the Soto sweepstakes at this point is so much further than I think most people ever thought they would go. And as long as if they don't sign him, as long as they follow it up with other meaningful additions and moves, and they do continue this apparent renewed commitment to spending, then I don't think it's the end of the world if they don't sign him. Now, if they make him an offer and he lands somewhere else and they say, oh, okay, well, then I guess we'll go back to just not spending money, then you kind of have to wonder, well, were they just making an offer to seem like they care, Xander Bogart style, where they're going to offer him like 160 million when, 4 or 5 other teams offered him over 200 million just so that they could say they made an offer. I think the Soto sweepstakes are a little different in that they're still in it. He's already begun eliminating teams, and they have not, so far that we know of, been one of them. So that means that their offer was, nothing to scoff at so far. But we'll see. I think it's about A, whether or not they get him, and B, what they do if they don't get him. And if they do get him, because if you sign Juan Soto, then you're basically saying we are committing to doing this thing now. And they need other things in order to complement a Juan Soto signing.
Should they come out with how much they offered him if they don't get it? And if they do sign him, is that the right move? Because you just said it, they need other things.
I mean, look, he's Juan Soto. So I think I wrote this recently. It's like every team would benefit from having Juan Soto, technically, because of everything he brings to the table. At the same time, it is interesting to see the Red Sox going so hard for Juan Soto when they have, Baseball America's number one overall prospect is Roman Anthony, and he's an outfielder. You extended Cedon Rafaela last spring. You have Jarren Duran, Willie Abreu, who just won the Gold Glove in right field. So in terms of outfield depth, Christian Campbell, who can play basically any position, you do have to wonder kind of why they wouldn't just go and throw $200+ million at Max Fried and say, like, that's a much more clear and pressing need for us now and in the long term. But again, I mean, it's Juan Soto. If you sign Juan Soto, you are telling the rest of the baseball world, we are all caps the Red Sox again, as opposed to just the Red Sox. You're flexing your muscles in the biggest way in franchise history. You will get butts back in the seats. You will have people taking you seriously. You will have other free agents wanting to come to Boston, which has been an issue the last few off seasons, where you've seen them make similar or identical offers to free agents and they've signed elsewhere. And that, would not have been the case 5-10 years ago, where it's like, oh, the Red Sox want to sign me. Okay. I'm going. Juan Soto, in the way of Shohei Ohtani, with the jersey sales and the tickets for Dodger Stadium, Juan Soto takes you very far in more than just baseball, like more than just on field and stats and wins.
Is this the move that can get Red Sox fans excited again? Because if you talk to Red Sox fans, they're kind of like, until the team does something, until John Henry gets off his wall and he worries more about the Red Sox and Liverpool and the PGA Tour and the Penguins and all that. I mean, is this the move that can get Red Sox fans excited again? Because I miss the days when the Red Sox and Yankees were having bidding wars and spending wars and, the Yankees signed him. Well, the Red Sox got to sign him. And then the Red Sox, and it was back and forth, right? I miss those days. Can we please get the Red Sox back to being one of those teams?
I mean, look, the Netflix thing about 04 came out like a month or so ago, and I went to the screening near Fenway Park at the theater, and I ran into some, Red Sox higher ups, and I was talking to one of them, and I just said, "Doesn't this make you hungry?" And he goes, "Starving." I think that there are people there that want it. John Henry does not make himself available to us really, so I cannot speak to how, he's feeling or what he wants. But I do think it was notable that at the day after the season ended, at the end of your press conference, Cora Breslow and Sam Kennedy all said something to the effect of, "We've waited long enough, fans have waited long enough, it's time," which is different than championship star, North Star, or all these kinds of things. I don't know, some fans are going to be unhappy no matter what they do. They're going to say it's too much for Juan Soto, or they're going to say, "Oh, it's amazing that we signed Juan Soto." In Boston, no one's ever 100% happy. I don't think anyone's been fully happy since 2004, maybe. But if Juan Soto isn't the move that gets people excited about the Red Sox again, I don't really know what would be. Like,
true.
David Ortiz finding a super serum and becoming 2004 David Ortiz again for the next 20 years maybe would be like the only other equivalent to me. But I don't know what else you could do that would have as big of a kind of cannonball into the pool from a 30-foot high dive as Juan Soto. Like, that's
true.
I
mean, two things. First of all, the Boston people are happy when the Celtics won. They were happy when Tom Brady was there. Okay, so it hasn't been that bad of a run for the the nation up there. I mean, they've won. Tom Brady, the Celtics, the Bruins won recently. The Red Sox have won 4 World Series in the last 20 years.
Or the year before?
It's been like 6 months since we've had a parade.
We haven't had a parade in so long. Right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, come on. But then so what you're saying is the front office said they're going full throttle at the buffet because they're starving. And they got to go through that thing fast and feed their faces because, listen, I got to see it to believe it. I am so tired doing this show all the time, and we've talked about it with all the Red Sox people we have on here, of them saying we were in, and I hate using air quotes, but we were in on every – they're always in. Like, We're on them. Like, no, how about we get it done? Let's just, like we just talked about Larry the Cable Guy, Red Sox, get her done. Get something done, please. Something big. And I'm not talking about low-key free agents that are going to help build depth.
Chapman.
Because, yeah, Chapman's fine. He's a great depth piece. He's going to be in their bullpen. Great. But they need a bona fide closer. They need a right-handed hitter. Can we Teoscar? Hi, Teoscar. I'm right-handed. Hi. Call me, Red Sox. Like, I mean, Juan Soto is great, but they also need a starting pitcher or two. So, to me, like, get all this done, Red Sox. You're the mighty Red Sox. And I watched the 04 documentary. Some of it was true. Some of it was, you know.
He's the conspiracy theory movie killer.
No, I lived it. I was there. I played that team a lot.
I mean, well, first of all, I should have said Red Sox fans, not Boston fans, because yeah, there's been a lot of good happening here. I mean, it's been a whole 6 months since we had a championship parade, so it's
you poor guys.
It's really been a long time. You know, Cleveland fans are going to start, you know, sending me like death threats for saying this. That poor baseball team. I mean, look, the Red Sox have always had the ability to spend. You know, you can talk all you want about how paying Mookie Betts $350 million would have mortgaged the future with the luxury tax and the farm system and all of that. But at the end of the day, they are one of the richest teams in the major leagues. They are one of the richest ownership groups in professional sports around the world. If you want to do it, you do it. You know, if you want to be like Steve Cohen and say they're going to name a new tax threshold after me and I don't give a crap and I'm just going to go spend, if you want to defer until the cows come home like the Dodgers, and by the way, the Red Sox have done that in the past. They were paying Manny like a year ago. I don't know if they're still doing it, but they were still paying Manny Ramirez deferred money. It's not like any of this is new. It's just they decided to slam on the brakes. And I think that's one of the reasons it's been so frustrating, is because you ask people to be patient. But at the end of the day, Red Sox fans for 86 years expected nothing. They literally were like, we expect heartbreak. We expect that if we go to the playoffs, we're going to go to Game 7 and then we're going to screw it up and we're going to lose. And then this ownership group bought the team. And I looked it up. I found quotes from John Henry from when the sale was approved in January of 2002, saying like, it's not just, you know, my job. He's like, it's my obligation to the city to end this drought. And so the ownership group taught fans to have high expectations. The ownership group taught fans, we're going to spend money. We're going to win. We demand to be in the postseason every year. We demand to go the distance. We demand to be the team that's won more championships than any other in this century. And then they were just like, actually, no, we're done. That's like feeding a starving person and then being like, actually, now you have to go back to starving. I'm not saying it's not entitled. I'm just saying Red Sox fans had no expectations for almost 90 years. And then they were told to change their expectations. It's not like they just became, you know, demanding out of nowhere. It was like, this is how things are going to be now. And then just the ultimate backtrack. And
Bring back Theo. Bring back Theo. Bring back Theo.
I mean, he's a part owner. He's back. He's a part owner. And I will say, I don't think he would have agreed to buy in. Sam Kennedy said that he like had to beg him to buy in. I don't think Theo Epstein is going to buy into the Red Sox, buy back into this whole thing, if they're going to just do what they've been doing. Because that's just, I mean, look, he's the guy that built the 86-year curse-breaking team. Then he built the Cubs curse-breaking team. Like, this isn't a guy who just, you know, wants to like just loll around and, you know, not do stuff like, you know, so that's, and the same thing for Cora, being willing to sign an extension during the season when all indications were for months that he wasn't going to talk about this during the season and he wasn't going to, you know, do anything. And there was a really, you know, good chance and expectation that they could lose him when he became a free agent this winter. You know, those two things are also indications, as much as fans want to see a big signing and, you know, it's time for a big signing. You know, the behind the scenes stuff also indicates like there are people that are willing to buy into this, that if the Red Sox weren't turning a corner, they wouldn't be buying in because there are greener pastures elsewhere.
FSG is doing the same thing with Liverpool. the same Fenway Sports Group is they're not re-signing 3 of their best players, which is unheard of in soccer. But so we'll see when it happens. We'll see.
Maybe
We
they
can get
just
excited
rotate
for.
through them. It's like,
Go
oh,
away.
now we're going to focus on you. Maybe it's like round robin. Now we're going to focus on you and not you, which is,
Okay.
a choice. We'll see. You wait till one fan base gets super, super mad, then you pivot to them, then you kind
Okay.
of rotate again.
I like that. I want your instant reaction to Jonathan Papelbon's tweet right here, talking about the golden at bat rule, but talking about there was another tweet where he had said about the Aroldis Chapman signing. His exact words. Hang on, let me pull up his exact words from the Aroldis Chapman signing. Said they got their swing and miss lefty for their bullpen, but did the Red Sox swing and miss?
All right. Well, I can do the golden at bat first. Welcome to Major League Celebrity Softball game. I don't know. I mean, why? Just why? Can we not? This is like when people. I just don't understand why we want to turn baseball into like a circus show. I don't know. It kind of reminds me of like when people were begging the Dodgers to lower their ticket prices and the Dodgers were like, we hear you. And instead we're banning plastic straws. It's like, well, that's not, we're not, like fans want to end blackouts or to at least make it easier to watch their favorite team. They want to be able to afford tickets at marquee ballparks. People want salary floor. Some people want a salary cap, whatever. What they don't want is this. I don't know who wants this. And also the pressure of being the guy who gets the golden at bat. I mean, can you imagine?
It'd be so fun. My numbers would have been so much better if I would have been the guy all the time up with the bases loaded, like facing a righty. Are you kidding me? I would love to be that guy. True. I want to be the golden at bat guy. Call me. I could take an at bat a game. Call me. Red Sox, call me. I know you loved me when I was there.
It would be hilarious if it was like Devers versus Cole. After what we all saw this fall at Yankee Stadium, Devers versus Cole. It's like, oh man, not again.
Think about if he came up with the bases loaded, right? Or Cole gave him the 4, and it loaded the bases, and the Red Sox were like, oh, by the way, he's hitting again. Then Cole would be like, 4? What do I do?
I mean, I will say I was sitting there that day, and he plunks him in the first at bat. Then he's got a no-hitter going on 35 pitches when Devers comes up with 1 out in like his next at bat. He walks him without even throwing the pitch. We're all sitting there. We're like, none of us it was the most confusing thing. Then he has the bases loaded the next time Devers comes up to bat and he doesn't walk him. And you're like, okay, so and you pitch to him. Like, it was just such an interesting sequence and choice of things. But yeah, as for Aroldis Chapman, it's certainly a choice. I mean, look, he's still one of the hardest lefty throwers, one of the hardest throwers in baseball this year, even though it was like a career low fastball average. Like his career low fastball average is still faster than so many people. I will say he has like a career 5.7 something ERA in like 18 or so games at Fenway. And he's 36. He's also this year was in the first MLB percentile in walk rate, like the first, like just he has like a career 12.8 walk rate, and MLB's average is 8.4, and he had a 14.4 this year. His exit velocity jumped a full 4 miles an hour from last year to this year. And it was the highest of his career by far and his worst since 2018. So this is a guy who, unless you're shoring up your infield defense at Fenway, which is another very pressing need for the Red Sox, you're going to have some really stressful outings with Chapman on the mound because he's walking a lot of guys. He's also getting hit hard. And I always think back to the whole Sandy Koufax thing of when he was like a young pitcher and he's throwing really hard, but he's got like no control over his pitches. And his catcher, Sherry, tells him, he's like, just like take a little speed off, and then you'll be able to control this pitch. You'll be able to locate these pitches. And then he becomes Sandy Koufax. And I'm like, it's really crazy when you can see someone throw 105 miles an hour. At the same time, if you're throwing 105 miles an hour and it's 7 feet outside the batter's box, and then you walk in a game-tying run in the 9th inning, I'm like, I'd rather have the guy who's throwing 95 who actually like strikes out the guy to leave the bases loaded. It's like maybe that's a weird personal preference, but and then of course,
no, that's good. I like.
I'd much rather have the guy that can throw it over the plate.
Yeah, I like this.
I'm an over the plate kind of guy.
Hey, I'd rather have Presley. We talked all about Ryan Presley before. Rather have him than Aroldis Chapman. But good luck to the Sox. They got a lot of work to do. I'll say that. So
yeah.
At least Pap is on it.
Last word. Then we got to hit a break. But yeah, I mean, what do you got? Last word.
I will say, if you sign Aroldis Chapman and give him $10.75 million, and then you don't sign someone big, either Soto, Max Fried, Corbin Burns, whatever, you are in a lot of trouble with your fan base, because for one thing, this is an organization that for a long time has stayed away from guys who have been suspended under the joint policy, DV guys. They literally backed out of a trade for Chapman almost 9 years ago exactly. And then they didn't even look at Roberto Ozuna when he was, serving his suspension in 2018. And then they demolished him in the ALCS that fall. This is an interesting, and interesting is the nicest way I can phrase it on television. This is an interesting pivot in organizational values for a club that their front office in the past would not touch a suspended guy with a 30-foot stick. And so if you don't follow this up by doing very big things for your roster this offseason, and like this is like the headlining signing of your offseason, I don't know who you're going to entice to come watch this team next year. Because if you look at the reaction from Red Sox fans on social media, in the comment section on Chapman's post, and like the news things, people responding to me, the overwhelming response is negative. And especially for, women and stuff too. It's not an ideal first big move of your off season. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, no, you're right. Good call. And the ownership and president and all that hasn't changed. Gabrielle, thank you for joining us. Appreciate the time. We'll see what else they're up to coming up. All right.
Hey, everybody. Be sure to like and subscribe for more content.
We're back here every weekday, all year long, so do not miss an episode.
The videos are coming in all day. Here's another video you might enjoy.
Baseball the way it should be covered.